This, folks, is the new Denza B5 plug-in hybrid 4x4 wagon, and it's pretty eagerly anticipated because Denza's going to put this on the market in Australia at really competitive pricing, undercutting dead-set direct rivals like the Toyota Landcruiser Prado. Now, how good is it though? Well, this is our first preview drive. We're going to head out now and find out. The B5 is coming to Australia at the end of this year alongside its big brother the B8 to launch the BYD premium brand Denza in Australia. There are going to be two B5 models, and the one we're driving here is the flagship Leopard. Now, both models get a punchy 425 kilowatt plug-in hybrid powertrain, but the Leopard also adds an active hydraulic body control suspension system. There's also heaps of other tech and gear we'll get into in our written review, but take it from us, this thing is stacked. But the push is on to keep pricing value focused. It's not finalised yet, but this thing could come in around $80,000. Okay, so Denza is part of the much larger BYD group, and as you'd know, there's a vehicle called the BYD Shark 6 that's sold in Australia, and I've got to say, it looks a lot like this inside, and underneath all this, there's a lot of similar running gear as well. So what you get is a lot of high technology and a surprising amount of high-end looking materials, considering what sort of price the B5 is going to come in for. You can see where the boxy shape of the B5 really comes in handy. It's fitting people into the car. This is the second row. There is no third row. If you want a third row, you've got to go up to the bigger B8. But this has got ample room here for two taller people and plenty of facilities as well. No shortage of space at all. The B5 actually builds on the Shark 6's off-road capability with that height-adjustable hydraulic suspension, front and rear diff locks, simulated low-range gearing, and a huge amount of powertrain adjustability. There's even a mode called Rage, which is for really serious obstacles. Apparently, we didn't really need it. There was nothing on our off-road course that really challenged the B5 for traction or clearance. It's going to be fascinating to pit this thing head-to-head against the Toyota Prado and Ford Everest, which are both very good off-roaders. Okay, well that's off-road with the B5, which is where everyone associates it. But you know what? This thing is pretty decent on-road too. For a start, it is humongously quick in a straight line, which is no shock really. It's a bit of a trait of these plug-in hybrids, but there's been a lot of work go on through multiple iterations of the dynamic side of this car as well. So lots of shock absorber retunes and things like that, and it has seemed to have a really positive impact. Look, we're driving at the Lang Lang Proving Ground in Victoria, and this is quite a demanding little ride and handling circuit. And while, you know, I've driven around here in some pretty potent and very capable cars, as a 4x4 goes, as a lumbering off-roader, the B5 is not too lumbering at all. One thing about it is you can really dial it through a lot of adjustment, from quite comfortable and blousy to pretty focused and tied down. And it does behave, when you do that, pretty well. Rolls pretty contained for a big vehicle like this. Doesn't steer too bad. Bit sort of rubbery and remove the electric assist system, which is not unusual, but it's still pretty connected in terms of giving you a fair idea of where the wheels are going. So all in all, it's a pretty decent combination to drive on road, you know, if you're in that touring sense or something like that out in the country. But where this car is going to be hugely advantaged over, say, something like a diesel Prado or Land Cruiser, and the same applies to the big brother B8 as well, is its ability to run a substantial distance as an electric vehicle. It's going to mean you could literally, if you were only driving a short distance, like say under 100 kilometers per day, and were fastidious with your recharging, which you could do with a 240 volt plug out of your garage overnight, you could spend weeks, if not months, driving this car without ever having to go to a garage and refueling it. Wow, I gotta say, first taste, impressed by the B5. Yeah, we're in the confines of a proving ground. Only driven it a limited amount off-road and only a limited amount on-road, but there's been a lot of tuning work put into this car to make it suitable for Australia, and it does show. It drives pretty well. Now, a lot more work to be done in investigating this vehicle and fully understanding it, so check back in soon for more in-depth testing of the Denza B5.